Hi, David White here again from the Access Group, and today I've been requested to make some Mexican tapas. So we're going to do a couple of different dishes here, and we're going to get some of it prepped up and we're going to finish it off later on. So for this we're going to be doing a chicken fajita with the breast. We're going to take the legs and turn that into a southern fried buffalo chicken. We're going to take the beef mince and turn that into a chili beef and bean burrito. We have some refried beans sitting here which we'll make some chimichangas with. And then I've got a nice mixture of tomatoes, basil, cucumber and onion. We're going to make a nice salsa. And then we've got some ingredients here to make a guacamole, sour cream, some rocket. We're going to do a Mexican rice, some potato bravas. And if the weather holds up, we'll be dining outside and drinking some more of that Sunday beer. So let's get going. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get some of these legs on to cook. We're using a brining solution, but we're not going to do a cold brine overnight. We'll just quickly get it up and running so that we can deep fry it, and it'll be a bit more tender than just deep frying straight through. So, okay, so as before, what we do is take the chicken apart by slicing your chicken through the edge of the leg, snap the bone out and cut it through. Take the wings off just over the knuckle. And then take the wing off completely by cutting through where it connects to the body. Chuck them in the pan, and then I want to take the breast by slicing down through past the bone. Take a knife through and then just cut away from the bone. For separating the drumstick to the thigh, feel where the bone is. Wherever it separates, put your knife down through the centre. So just in here. Do that into here. And then for the chicken, we're just going to shred this up, so let's get rid of the skin. Come back, take the fillet off. And turn on the sides. With one clean slice, take the blade right through the centre of the chicken, giving you two equal parts. Okay, now just take a cross section and slice the chicken up. We won't be cooking this just yet, but we'll put that into a marinade so it makes it nice and flavoursome. Okay, so for the marinade, what we're going to do is just get into this jug here. And we've got Cajun powder, so we give a good dunce to that. We've got some salt. And a little bit of pepper. Stick that to the side. And I've got some olive oil here for cooking. We're just going to give that a good mix up, and we're going to set that aside and just let that marinate for a while. Now, okay, so for the chicken, I want to use a brining solution, but we're just going to use a little bit of vinegar, got a little bit of sugar, and some salt, and top it over with the boiling water. Get the heat on, and we're going to give that about 35 to 40 minutes just in the simmer. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is the chili con carne. Let's get some heat on the pot at the back. We get an onion and we'll dice this up fairly fine. Keeping the roots.
Just take one slice straight.
And we'll get that into the pan. We'll get some olive oil in there. And just open up this mince. Get that in there as well. And we're just going to brown the mince and onions together. And get in some garlic puree at the same time. With some salt. With some pepper. And we'll get some colour out of that before we add anything else in. And now for the potato bravas, we're just going to use a smaller knife for this. And we're going to keep them quite chunky. Another thing that's going to do is we'll put the other potatoes away. And we'll get some salt in here. Let's get some heat on. And we'll wait for that kettle boiling as well. Give the mince a bit of a stir. What we'll do is we'll just top these potatoes up and we'll give them about 5 to 10 minutes in a blanch. We don't want to cook them all the way through, we just want to soften them up. Okay, so that's coming along nicely, so what we'll do is we'll starting to brown up, we'll get the beans ready, and we'll get the tomatoes ready. So I've just got a tin of mixed beans sitting here, rather than just using the kidney beans. We also have the kidney beans here as well. Giving them a good wash off. We get 2 tins of tomatoes in here. Oh, tin of water. Sugar, salt. I'm just going to use some dried herbs. I've got dried basil, dried oregano, good squeeze of tomato puree. Now the mince is starting to brown up, we're going to give that some flavour. For this we're going to use some chilli powder. Some paprika. A splash of Frank's hot sauce. Touch of barbecue sauce as well. You just turn the heat down on those potatoes. We just want them to simmer, we don't want them to break up. Same with the chicken, just the simmer we want. Let's see if we can caramelise this beef mince up. Let's get the sauce in. We're going to simmer that for about an hour. Alright, so in preparation for the potato bravas, we want to give it a bit of crispy crumbs, so what I'm going to do is take some flour here. I'm going to mix that with some salt, some chili powder, paprika, and Cajun powder. Alright, so that's going to give us a nice little crumb, and when the potatoes are ready we'll just douse them in it and then put them back on to fry. Sauce for the potato bravas, quite easy, we've got to keep it nice and simple. Let's get some chopped tomatoes on the go. Get some salt. Pepper. Sugar. Oregano. Fresh basil. Teaspoon of red pesto. I'm just going to make this into a smooth sauce. Lovely. We will be garnishing that with a fresh green chilli sliced over the top, to which we'll take the seeds out first. And then we're just going to keep this quite fine and we'll just shred this over the top. Okay, let's test these potatoes. You see the knife's just going nicely through it without any pressure, so they're ready to come off. That'll take roughly about 10 minutes. Let's stick them into the flour. Pan's clean, back on the heat because we're going to use that to fry these potatoes in a second. And I've just got a burger slice here, to which I'm now going to just fold the potatoes through some of that flour, making sure that they're all coated properly. Get some of the oil. We're just going to fry these in batches. Turn the heat down on that now. We can start frying these potatoes. Now these are only going to take a couple of minutes because they will be going into the oven. Now they're nice and crispy, let's get them into the dish. And we'll do the second batch. The second batch is on the go, let's get some of these ones spread out and we'll just layer these up, so we'll pour some of the sauce over. We'll top that up in just a second with the rest. Okay, so the next batch just goes shaking on top of it. Don't need too much to top up the dish this time. And for the remainder, I've got a backup dish that will make up a portion that we can have another day. And again, just across the top with the tomato sauce. Not too much. And keep the rest back for the backup batch. And a nice bit of that chopped chilli scattered around over the top. I'm going to pop that in the oven and switch that on as a 100 degrees or roundabout just to hold that. Right, so whilst we're waiting for that final batch of the potatoes to come on, we'll prep the rice. That'll be going into the pan next. And for the rice, what we're going to use, very simple, use a diced red onion, pan and clean out. Olive oil. Straight in with the red onion. 2 cloves of garlic. Again, just rough chop. And then crush down to get some of that flavour to release. That into the onions. Give that a bit of a stir. Now, because I'm restricted on what herbs and spices I've got in the house at the moment during this lockdown, I've actually got some curry powder here that I'm going to use to flavour up this rice. So let's scatter that into the pan. And that curry powder is going to give me a very similar colour and taste to which would normally be inside a Mexican rice. Okay, so now we're going to add in the rice to that seasoned onions. Get some salt. And boiling water. I'm going to cook this until the water disappears. Probably about the best part of 10 minutes. Low heat, just want it simmering, I don't want to move it around too much. So whilst we're waiting for the rice to cook, turn it down a little, what we'll do is we'll make the chimichangas, and I've chosen a corn tortilla to do this with, and some refried beans. And I just put a packet of the old El Paso. All I'm going to do is put a spoonful right in the middle, fold it over until it makes a little square, turn it over on itself and stick it on the tray. Okay, so for this, there's nice array of olive oil. Just hold my finger over the edge and I'm just going to sprinkle the top of them. I've got some mango chutney here that I've watered down with some boiling water, and I'll just get a spoon that over the top as well. Okay, now they get popped in the oven alongside the potato Bravas, just to get held, and we'll put them up in the heat, caramelise them off in a little bit. Test the rice, you can see it start coming along nicely. And check the chilli. Starting to reduce down nicely as well. I want this quite thick for the chili bean burrito so it holds together. I'm just taste the chicken and that's coming along nicely as well. Top up the water on the rice, it was looking a bit dry. Want that to be nice and light and fluffy. Okay, so whilst we're waiting on the rest of it cooking, let's make some of the salsa. So first thing we're going to do is get the ingredients out. We're going to dice this up nice and fine. Try to keep it as fresh as possible. We'll start off with a cucumber. Little chunk, cut it in half. Half again. Get a teaspoon. And then just take those seeds out. Don't want the salsa to break down because of the seeds of the cucumber or the tomato, so what we'll do next is take tomato seeds out. And I'm just going to do that, cutting across the edge, removing the core at the same time. Alright, tomatoes to the side, let's get rid of the pepper. Same thing, we don't want any of the seeds or any of the pith. And for the spring onions, what we're going to do is take the tops off completely. And I'm going to take it down to about here. I'm going to use the tips for something else later on. And we'll take off the bases. And the garlic. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is get tomatoes in there. Just keep them nice and fine. Always put the skin to the boards whilst you're chopping the tomatoes. You can take the skin off if you like, but I quite like the extra little bit of texture. Okay, tomatoes done, let's get that into the mixing bowl. Spring onions next. Just gotta leave these whole and just cut them nice and fine. And the spring onion goes, and cucumber. Checking those rice and chilli again. Just need a little bit more water, I think. The last time. And that chilli is ready to go. So switch that off and leave it to rest for a little while. With garlic. And now I just want to crush that. And a bit of paste. And let's get that in there. We've got chilli, again nice and fine. And just dice up, nice and fine. Stick it through. We're going to use half this pepper. It's just for a little bit of colour. We'll keep the other half and put it through the fajitas. Take the coriander and the basil and just scrunch it up together, and then just take a knife through and give that a quick chop. Trim off the end of the stalks. Pop that in. Salt, but I'm going to use a coarse Maldon salt. Give it a pinch. Give that a drizzle of olive oil. Quite a good quality one. We're going to crack the pepper fresh this time rather than using the pre-cracked. Pinch of sugar. Give that a good mix up. Have a taste. And that is lovely. Set that to the side. We're going to get it clean up. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is the guacamole, and for this we've got finely chopped garlic. We're going to use a finely chopped onion. Get that in the bowl. I'm going to use some chopped coriander, remove some of those stalks. The avocado, take this pit out the top, go through the neck, spin it round on your knife, and you should be able to spin that open. Take the base of your knife, hit it into the stone, twist it, and then pop the stone off, discard the stone. Take a decent sized spoon, take it over the edge, scoop it round, and then just take the avocado out off the skin. Alright, so we're just going to keep this one quite chunky. And I'm following the contours of the actual avocado itself. Give it a dice up, get that in as well. We use the last of those diced chilies we did earlier on. Just smooth them out a little bit. There that goes in. And whole lemon. Squeeze through your fingers, catch any pith. The lemon juice will stop this from turning brown. Cracked black pepper, a Maldon salt, olive oil, give it a good mix up. You're ready to go. You could puree that up if you like. I think for today we're going to leave it nice and chunky. So now for the burritos. We've got the rice. Put a spoonful of that in the middle. Put that to the side. And got a little bit of chilli. Set that on top. And then just roll them up by tucking them in, pulling them back, twist the side and hold them into the cigar. Okay, so we're going to keep these warm, we're going to put them on a tray into the oven. We'll get ready to plate it up in just a minute. Now the crumb for the southern fried chicken. We're going to use plain flour, Cajun powder, paprika, and semolina. ratios you about a fifth semolina into plain flour. Give that a good sugar around, make sure it's nice and coated, and let's get some salt in there. And get some salt into the mix as well. Alright, let's get a set of tongs. Pick out the chicken. It will be nice and soft, so be careful. And set it off to the side. Take the chicken and just put it straight in the fryer. Fryer's sitting about 180 degrees. Okay, so we've got the fried chicken out. What we're going to do now is get the buffalo sauce, like good dousing, good sugar up, stick that in the oven. Last but not least, the fajitas. Just going to make a quick onion and pepper mix. And these seeds. These in the pan and we've got to tidy up. Okay, so now that the peppers and onions are starting to soften, what we'll do is we'll get them out and set them to the side. Stick the chicken on the cook that we marinated earlier on. And that'll be 2 minutes. We'll get the lid back on that. We'll add the peppers back in, the fajitas will be ready. Let's start plating up. Potato Bravas. And garnish it with the white cheese. Then we've got the burritos. And the chimichangas. Rice, salsa, guacamole, because the chicken was nice and fine, you can now add back in the onions and peppers and we're ready to go in about 30 seconds. Well, there we have it. Tex Mex Tapas in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm going to enjoy this. Cheers.